Hi everybody, Judy here from My Divine Angel Reading. Today I wanted to share with you a little bit about my personal life. I want to talk about manifesting, what it is, how I personally have done it, along with a long list of all the things that I have manifested in my life, and how I do it, that you could put those same things into action to manifest wonderful, abundant, loving, insane, happy, wonderful stuff into your life. I do live in a real life happy fairy tale, and I do have sweet bliss every day. Why? I changed how I see things. I changed how I look at things. I take how I feel and situations that are going on in my life, and I have programmed my mind, not only because of like the work that I do for a living with the whole spiritual aspect of it. I have all of that in my life. I really do. And part of why I started this My Divine Angel reading, I want to teach that and share that with people. How did I get that? Like, it is possible to have a dream life. Even when things are not good, you still be in the zone and have things working out. I want to share that with you. I want to give it to you. I want to show you how you can do it all for yourself. It is totally achievable, totally doable. So first I want to explain what is manifesting. Manifesting is pretty much, it's actually pretty simple. All it is your thoughts, what is in the reality in your head, what you want to attract into your life, your dream life, being able to see it, visualize it, not even your dream life, it's anything that you want, whether it's a different change in a career, your love life, your house, a new home, a vehicle, internal transformation, anything that you want, how to attract that into your life. It's kind of like, the way I try and explain it is, if you think of that person who constantly has bad luck in their life, it's because either on the outside world, through their thoughts or the things they say, or internally, the things that they think, what you give off is the vibe that you're given to the world. Therefore, that's what you attract. That's all it is. I really don't know another way to explain it. So the first thing that I do when I manifest, let me back up a little bit. A couple years ago, when I first started doing this, someone very, very special in my life, her name is Kristen. She does my card readings and my Reiki sessions, and even before I knew what angel cards were, this girl totally, I give her so much credit, I want to say, for saving my life and my sanity. I love her to death. Anyway, so she had originally told me about this thing called a God box, and I'm like, a God box? What is that? And she said, you write down your dreams, your goals, your desires, and you put it in a box. And I'm like, all right, well, in my brain, I didn't like the idea of a box because it was like closed. And then what is it going to do? It's just going to sit there closed. And I mean, so what I did, I'm actually going to show you my God box. What it is, it's just a flower pot. And what I did was I bought this flower pot, and I write down, I still do, I wrote down my goals, my dreams, my wishes, my desires, and I put them in this flower pot, and then I actually stuck this flower pot in front of my window. In my brain, it was a visual of feeding and growing my desires. So I'm going to share with you a couple things that I wrote down on there, and then we'll go over the different things that have happened. The very first thing that I ever wrote down and put into this God box here, this was a very, a lot of the dates on these are from the beginning of 2014. Very, very rough time in my personal life. Extremely turmoil, the Tower card in the tarot deck. It was rough. So the first thing that I ever wrote down, you could see it there, was to come back to life. That's all I wanted to do. I felt so dead inside. I just wanted to come back to life. Wrote that down, put it in my little box, put it in front of the windowsill. I am more alive now. At this point in time, I'm 41. Um, I am more now alive inside and outside now than I ever have been in my entire life. Not only did I come to life, I came to life inside, outside, all around, the people around me. It's just, it's wonderful. So, like I said, this was a very difficult time in my personal life. That's all I wanted to do was come back to life. I have here. A lot of these were like just personal things. They're not really physical things. I want it in my life. Can you see that? What's it say? Love, passion, and growth. Obviously, those things were lacking in my life at the time, but these are like the feelings that I wanted to feel. I got them. I have a couple more here that I wrote down, and I'll go over and share them with you. But when you're manifesting, you want to be very aware of your thoughts, your actions, and the things that you say. What I mean by that, you have to, one, raise your vibration, okay? Bring yourself to a higher, happier frequency. And what I mean by that is, if you catch yourself feeling something negative, or actually even worse, saying it and putting it out there in the world, you need to retract it and bring it back in. So an example I could say here is when I first moved into my studio here, which, by the way, I manifested it, I would talk about having to go to work and, clean up some shit. I would use the word shit. That's not good. You want to change the things that you say. Let me think here. Another example. If you have someone who says, you know what, I want love in my life. I want to find a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever terminology, partner you want to use. But yet, if you keep meeting people and you just constantly turn them down, you're blocking yourself. You have to allow, even though there's steps and processes to get, you want this, but you have to go through all that to get here. So if you say you want love in your life, and the universe heard that, and it's continuing to bring you people into your life, and you continue to reject all of them away, they can, even though they might not be the one, every person that you come in contact with, they have a specific purpose in your life. So if you're saying you want love in your life, and the universe hears you and it's giving it to you, and you keep pushing it away, you're not allowing it in. You're controlling how it's delivered and things to that extent. But in all essence, you're blocking it, and you don't want to do that. You have to feel in your heart as if you already have it. So, example I can give you, I manifested one of my vehicles that I drive. I put it out there into the world that I either wanted a Jeep or a sports car, okay? And at an extremely, incredible deal, rock bottom price, that, costs, pretty much next to nothing. The one thing, I had to believe that it was true, that was actually achievable. It wasn't so much how to go about bringing it in. You leave that to the universe on how it's delivered to you. So one, not only did I believe in my heart and in my head that it is possible, I can have either one of those, at the rock bottom price that I want it. So then the next step is to feel like I already have it. So if I was on the road driving somewhere and I saw somebody in front of me with a sports car, I would just look at the vehicle in front of me and think, you know what, that's just my friend. I'm letting them borrow my car, and they're just driving my car somewhere for me or whatever. I don't know. Just something along those lines, like the car in front of me is mine. Or I would look at the vehicle in front of me and think to myself, you know what? I think I want to go to the dealership today and buy myself that car. As if I already had the financial ability to do that. It really isn't a big deal. It's like daydreaming. manifesting, a huge part of it is daydreaming. But when you daydream about it, it's feeling it like you already have it. So I actually felt like I already had the finances to go out and buy this brand spanking new Corvette, although the Corvette isn't what I wanted, but still, you get the point. It's a sports car. I also felt like every time, like, my radio, I would blast my radio and rock out to whatever it was that I was listening to, feeling like and envisioning I was already in that vehicle. I wasn't in my mommy mobile, my mommy mobile minivan. I was in my sports car rocking out to my music. Whenever I would pull in my driveway, I would visualize I wasn't driving a minivan. I was driving my sports car. So those are the different steps that I personally go through when I manifest things. You have to be very careful, like I said, as to the resistance. If you have to make sure what you think, what you feel, and what you say, those three things, they have to match. And what I mean by that is a lot of people will say they want this, but in all actuality, they're either afraid of when they do get it, the changes that will come, or what might happen, or how it might ruin things, or they'll screw it up, or that's a negative thought, so you would, be conscious of that. Or they don't believe that they actually deserve it, or that it's a realistic, goal, or something that you can actually have. Like, no, other people get that stuff. No. But it's just because other people get it and other people have the better luck does not mean that you can't. So you have to, and again, that's a negative thought process. You have to be aware of what you're saying, what you're thinking, and what you're saying. All three things have to line up. The other part of it is you do not want to force it or control it. You can't demand it. So what I mean by that is, if you know in your heart of hearts and you truly feel you are ready for whatever it is that you want, and you put it out there, you have to be patient and wait. You can't force how it comes to you. You can't control it. You do have some wiggle room with timeline, but again, it's all within yourself. You have to let go of the control part. How you expect it or how you think it's going to come into your life. Imagine like writing it down on a dry erase board in front of you and wiping it clean. You have to allow the universe, the world, God, whatever you want to fit in that bubble there of terminology, you have to allow the freedom to bring it to you in the manner that it's supposed to come to you and the timeline when it's supposed to. So a lot of times, like for example, I can say, someone will say, again, we'll go back to love, okay? I want a husband, or I want a wife, or I just want a ton of friends with benefits. Whatever it is that you want concerning love. When you throw it out there, you have to, like I said, you have to give it the freedom to come in. You can't just constantly be going here or going there or doing that and looking for it and you're putting expectations on it. When the reality of it is, one, by doing that, you're resisting it and blocking it. And two, you're really not ready for it. If all that stuff, whatever it was that you wanted, came into your life right now, it might drastically screw up things, or it might bring about changes in your life that you're really not ready for, or that you can't handle, or that you don't know what to do. And another example I can give you on that would be, all right, that new young person who just got their driver's license, okay, and they want this insane, fast, sporty car. That's like a dangerous thing to play with right there, because they're inexperienced. They don't have the knowledge and the training and the experience under their belt to handle a fast car. They could like really hurt themselves, kill themselves, or kill somebody else. So I don't really know another way to explain it, but that's what they want, but they're not ready for it. So again, the things don't match. So a couple other things that you want to go through when you're manifesting it, and I'm going to share with you my list of all the different things I have manifested. I want to say in the last 2 years, there's probably, I got 18 different things, okay? Some of them are extremely big, some of them are small, but you'll get the point when I go over them with you. So the first thing that you want to do is clear out any disbelief. I want to say it's like clearing your space, your internal space within yourself. Know that anything is possible. Think of like, all right, a carpenter, okay? A builder's, okay? If you can think of this massive giant castle, anything that you can possibly think of, it can be built. So why would you put a limitation on yourself that you're not worthy enough, or that's unrealistic, or that's unachievable? Take all those words out of your out of your vocabulary. I was going to say vocabulary and belief system. See that? I almost put two words together. Take those words, those thoughts, those negative thought patterns out of your head. Anybody can achieve, become, attract anything they want. The only thing that stops any of that is you. That's it. It's all you. You do it to yourself. You block it. You stop it. Not anybody else. It's your thoughts and your belief system. How you choose to look at things. The other thing you want to do is get absolutely clear on specifically what it is you want. It makes me think of one of my mentors. Her name is Karen. She was telling us about how she wanted a husband and $5,000. And something at some point in her life came up where a friend of hers, or she met somebody who was an illegal alien, and he offered her $5,000 to marry him. So there was her two things. She got her, she could have had a husband, and she could have got her $5,000. So you want to be very specific on what it is exactly that you want. It's kind of like, I think of it like that trick genie. You know how like you see in like the old cartoons or the movies or whatever, and the genie says you have 3 wishes and you make a wish and he gives it to you, but it's not really what you were expecting because you weren't specific enough. So just be specific on what it is really that you want. The other thing you want to do is, like I was saying earlier in the video, you want to think and feel, and I don't want to say act as like you already have it, but know in your heart that it's out there. I remember one time watching this interview with Jim Carrey, the comedian actor, and Oprah Winfrey. And he was saying, like, he manifested, I think it was $1 million and his dream job. He would go out somewhere and he knew his future and this high-paying job was out there for him. Oh, that's what he did. He actually wrote himself a check for like $1 million. Of course, he didn't have the money in his bank account at the same time. In fact, here in my God box, I wrote myself a check for a certain dollar amount. But he wrote himself a check for $1 million and he dated it. And he did some manifesting. He would sit in his car and look out somewhere in California or wherever it was that he was living at the time. And he knew it was out there for him. It was just a matter of waiting for it to come. And I think in the interview he said something like, the day before the date of that check, one of the movie producers or whatever those things are called, they offered him the job to, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, or the Ace Ventura, one of his first movies. And they offered him $1 million for the job. So he didn't have any restricting beliefs on him like this. He's never going to happen. It's a thought and you said it. You don't want to do that. So you have to think it, believe it, and know that it's out there and it's true. The world is like kind of backwards with the way we were trained to think you would achieve things. You have to think, you have to work hard, you have to do this, you have to... So many different steps you need to do in order to get this. And it's backwards. It's so backwards. The other thing that you want to do is just... The last step I want to say is just chill. Just chill and wait and relax. Don't force it. Think about it. Visualize it. Feel it. The feeling it is the most wonderful, wonderful thing in the world. Like right now, I am manifesting a new house, okay? And I tell, and oh man, if you're with somebody and the two of yous are on the same page and you manifest it together, holy cow, it's like that. It comes that fast. And I'll give you some more examples of that in a minute. But I tell him all the time, when he's outside on his riding thing, I don't know what they're called. I'm doing this because it's like a 0-turn riding mower or something. He enjoys cutting the grass. And I tell him all the time, every time you cut the grass, you need to sit on that mower and visualize you are cutting your dream lawn. You have to feel the joy and the happiness as if you are physically doing it, like you already have it, and incorporate some of your senses into doing that. Like, what does it feel like? Well, I want you to really, really feel it, imagine it, visualize it. And again, it goes back to, if you watch some of my other previous videos, that childlike, wondrous, appreciative, non-questioning, non-forcing state. Children live in the moment, and as adults, things get distorted and pushed and forced and twisted and jaded, and you have to go back to just simplify things. When you're playing as a kid, remember what it felt like to pretend you were Tarzan swinging from the trees, or me personally, I used to pretend I was a mermaid. But I would actually go in my swimming pool and pretend I was a mermaid and feel like a mermaid, and you have to go back to that. Just simplify it. Your brain as adults gets so overcomplicated and shoved with stuff that doesn't need to be there. So I wanted to go through my personal list here of all the different things that I have manifested, okay? So I went over in the beginning when I first started doing this, I would write a list. You don't have to put it in a God box, okay? I just that felt to me like the right thing to do, that just added a little bit more. Oh, I'm planting my seeds and I'm putting them in my flower pot, and I'm putting my flower pot in front of the window. And I think I waited like a year maybe, and I went back and I checked all the things that I wrote down, and I was like, oh my goodness, all of these except one, there's still one I'm waiting on, one of them has come true. So the first thing that I ever manifested when I really started thinking about manifesting and what it is, was this studio right here that I work out of. I don't want to say my previous job, my other business is, it started out, I would paint and sell glassware online, and it was really taking over my house in a bad way. Like good, like it was, it was growing, but bad, like it was consuming my dining room, the one bedroom, the office, and then if like if you work from home, sometimes it's really hard to turn off. I'd walk past the kitchen 25 times and I'm like, just stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm focusing on work, not the dishes and the laundry and home life stuff. So I knew I wanted to move out of the house, move my business out of my home into a shop. Now, I was very specific on what I wanted, where I wanted it, what I wanted to pay. And I put it out there, and through the grapevine, don't you know, it came to me. So the other thing that I manifested was, I want to say, not accidentally, my twin flame. At the time, when I was going through some pretty severe personal things, I found myself constantly saying, why can't I just be with somebody my own age who loves me for me? Who does not want me to be what they want me to be. Love me enough to love me for who I am, my soul, my essence, my being. And I would just constantly think this and say it. And I would listen to like country love songs and feel what it would feel like, to have that kind of relationship and love in my life. Now, unfortunately, my marriage fell apart, although it fell apart long, that it was going on for a couple years. But the funny thing is, when I met this person, I didn't realize I was manifesting, but I kept feeling like that and putting it out there and saying it. And this person came into my life, And I remember when I was saying before, you can't block things. Say you want love and people come into your life and you keep blocking them. When I met him, I did not like him. I did not like him at all. I thought he was good looking and he was fun, and that was it. He did not possess any boyfriend dating qualities I wanted anything to do with. But eventually I just kind of opened up and I got to know him, and yeah, I wound up falling in love with him, and yada yada yada. Things are great and wonderful now. But yeah, I did not like him. I didn't like him at all. In fact, I was actually pushing him away. So, and then I got, you know, my studio here. I actually wrote down when I moved in here, on my little piece of paper here, this one particular studio space that I'm in, there was another tenant next door to me. And I told my landlord, when that tenant, and I actually said it, I thought it, okay? I felt it inside. I wrote it down. I put it out into the world. And I told my landlord, when the tenant next door here moves out, do not rent that to another tenant. I am taking over that space too. And I wrote down here, expand my business to next door ASAP. Don't you know? The tenant next door moved out. I moved in. I took it over. My landlord and we worked out a deal. And there you go. There's another one. Check off the list. When I moved into this space, this particular building, I knew my business was going to grow. I just felt that. I knew it. I didn't put a limiting belief on it. And I wanted this particular space because I wouldn't have to physically move, okay? I could just consume right next door, which is what what my intention was. I put that out there. My career change. That was a big one. Okay, so where were we? Apparently, I just found out my iPhone can only hold a half-hour video at a time, so I got to pick up where I left off. Career change, okay? When I first moved into this space, my full-time job, the business that I was running was, well, I still have it. It's called Judy Painted It, okay? I would paint and sell glassware. And I got this idea, and it wasn't an idea, it was a message, and that's a whole nother video on how I get my information from, my guides, my angels, to start teaching people how to paint their own glasses, where BYOB Glass Painting Shop. So that's why I wanted to take over the other portion of the studio. My higher self, guides, a whole nother topic, informed me that that is what I need to be doing next. So as I took over that other portion of the studio and created it specifically for glass painting parties, I was going through I don't want to say I was going through a spiritual awakening, but I finally decided to stop pushing it away and just accept the career change or transition, although I still have the other business and I still do that. But I knew it was time to take all the knowledge and experience that I got from the one business and apply it into a new one, which was me evolving and growing and coming into my life purpose here. There's building blocks and steps that you need to go through. I thought I heard the back door open. There's building blocks and steps and things that you need to go through in order for that to get it. Now remember, before I was talking about, if I would have just said, I want to be self-employed and have a business being a card reader, Reiki practitioner, spiritual teacher, blah, 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 blah. And just bam, poof. There's things that you need to go through and experience and learn before that happens. So I went and did all the necessary things that I needed to go through and do and experience and learn and grow and da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, going through this career transition change, I actually wrote down on a piece of paper, and I don't have it here with me. I think it was like a year and a half ago. My goals, my dream life, the things I wanted, the things, physical, material things and internal things that I wanted, what my ideal life looked like, the things that I would do on a daily basis, and what I wanted to offer to the world when I discovered my gifts and talents and abilities, and I decided to just come out of the closet with them and present them to help other people. So that was another thing I manifested. Now here I am. I have a second business called My Divine Angel Reading, which offers all kinds of card readings and Reiki and spiritual insight and classes and all different wonderful things. Everything I wrote down on that piece of paper, I am doing right now, and it's just coming to me in a non-controlling, like I am not controlling how it happens. I put it out there, I feel it, I know I can totally achieve it, and I'm so ready for it, and now it's coming. The house that I live in, when my marriage, I'll share something very personal here with you. When my marriage ended, it got to the point where I decided to go for personal reasons. Instead of him going, I left the house. And I was actually staying here at my studio for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks off and on. And as I was here, I was manifesting that the room that I was staying in, that was a home. That I would, every time I would pull up in the parking space here, I was pulling up into my new home. I knew there was a house out there for me. And I knew there was a house out there that I could afford. And I knew the area. It had to be local to here so I didn't have to change school districts for my daughter, or I knew the price I wanted to pay. I knew the kind of person I needed to deal with to have as my landlord. I was very specific on what I needed and what I wanted. And not only did I knew this as a fact, this was a belief, this was totally achievable. I did not have any limiting anything on me, and I knew it had to happen fast, like RFN. And I went out to the bar one night with some of my friends, and I was talking to one of my girlfriends from high school, and I was telling her, you know, I'm looking for a house to rent, not an apartment, not a condo, and I want a house. And she was like, oh, I have a house that I rent. And I was like, what? I did not know this. And she's like, yeah, I have a house rental. And she's like, it's actually vacant right now. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you want for it? And she told me, I'm like, let me go check it out first. So it needed some work to it, and her and I made an agreement, and don't you know, I got my house exactly in the area I was looking for, the things that I wanted within it, and I feel a sneeze coming on. But anyway, it all worked out. I got the house. Oh, excuse me. The next thing, I feel another sneeze coming on. The next thing I was working on was a vehicle. I wanted a new vehicle. My mommy minivan had served its purpose. My kids are older. They're in their 20s. I don't need to be driving a minivan anymore. The only reason I use it is for work-related purposes for the other business when I do shows, you know, to carry everything. So I wanted either a Jeep or a sports car. And I said it, I put it out there, I knew the price I wanted to pay, and don't you know, one just happened to fall on my lap, this phenomenal opportunity for exactly what I wanted to pay, and I got it. Now, the funny thing with that is, when I bought the car, I actually said out loud, my boyfriend was like, oh, do you love your car, you're happy with it? I'm like, yeah. I said, I just wish it had a little bit more ass to it. Don't you freaking know, like, a week later, the motor blew up. Yeah. So, apparently the car heard me, but you know what the wonderful thing about it is? I didn't get upset, okay? I was very aware of my thoughts and my emotions and my vibration and the things I was giving off. I thought, alright, well, this is a blessing in disguise, because something else is going to come along. It all works out. Well, my boyfriend, who's a mechanic, just told me that he found a motor that has some more ass in it, and he's gonna put it in for me. So yay, win-win. Um, my boyfriend and I together, we manifested a motorcycle. Um, there was a Father's Day of 2015, was it? Yeah. We were in a very bad motorcycle accident. The only reason that I'm still alive and he's still alive is because God and the angels had a hand in it. I don't know how we are not dead right now, but obviously because we did not fulfill our purpose yet. So we were in this very, very bad motorcycle accident, and when here I got another little thing here that I put in my God box that I'm going to share with you in a second. It's dated 6/24/15, and I wrote down insane speedy wow factor recovery for myself and Tracy, and pure bliss at the end of it. And I put a little smiley face on it. Say. Now, he was in the ICU for like 3 weeks, I think, and a lot of the doctors said some things to him about what he might expect and recovery and this and that, and he just kind of was like, F you, mind over matter, and his face, he pretty much got a new face. He has titanium plates in his face now, and mind over matter, he told himself, and he thought it, and he felt it, and he was determined that he was going to heal so freaking fast that he would leave the doctors just stumped and dumbfounded. And I even wrote it down on here. If you see a picture of him 1 month after the motorcycle accident, you would never know his face, just the way it recovered. It's just so amazing. So, again, I wrote it down and I felt it and I knew it. I knew it was possible. I knew that this miracle, this healing, unbelievably ultra speedy, fast healing could just totally take place. And for him to have a normal face again, to where it wouldn't be mangled and disfigured. We got it. We did it together. So, on top of that, the motorcycle. So obviously the motorcycle that we were on was totaled. That's long gone and over and done with. So I think about 4 months after the motorcycle accident, we went out and we picked out a new one. Now he knew he wanted a black cherry, like ultra glide classic luxury motorcycle, and I thought, well, the other one was nothing but a sexy rocket. That's all that thing was. I had to hold on for life. And I knew I wanted something comfortable where I didn't feel like, I could just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride without feeling like I have to hold on for life. And we went to Bike Week in Wildwood, and he saw the exact color, model, everything that he wanted. And I stopped someone who was walking by. I was like, honey, I said, we need to take a photograph of you and I in front of this motorcycle like it's ours. And he was like, I'm like, that's what we need. Just listen to me, okay? This is what we're doing. So I stopped some stranger because I'm not big on selfies. And I asked the person, I said, can you please take a picture of me and my boyfriend next to this motorcycle? And, they were like, yeah, sure. So we got our photograph, and it looked like we were standing in front of our bike, which was really somebody else's. We put it out there together. Don't you know, we go to the Harley shop and to look at this one motorcycle, which really wasn't what he wanted, but it was in the price range. We get to the Harley shop, we see this black cherry ultra classic. I got a phone call. So anyway, we go in the Harley shop and we see this black cherry ultra glide classic luxury bike. And I was like, wow, that's the bike that you wanted. And well, apparently somebody had already put a deposit on it. We weren't getting that bike. Still optimistic though. So as we're walking around the showroom, this guy comes up to the salesman And he's like, dude, he's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I need my deposit back. It was for that bike. And when we turned it on, the time said 6:11, which is actually my deceased brother's birthday, June 11th. That's a whole nother thing. I get signs from him all the time. And I was like, no shit. I'm like, we're getting this bike. And it all worked out. And while we were there, the guy backed out, and all of a sudden the bike was available. We took it for a ride. The time, like I said, it said 6:11, which is June 11th, my deceased brother's birthday. We got our bike. We manifested our new motorcycle. Another thing that, as silly as it sounds, there's this gazebo that I wanted outside. We spend a lot of time outside, having fires and entertaining people and just spending time together. We spend more time in our backyard, I think, than we actually do in the house. And I was telling my boyfriend I saw it in my head. I wanted this really nice gazebo with lights under it and curtains and, just the table and the chairs and everything out there. And I told him, I said, I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it. I want to get it, like, if not free, like brand new, if not free, like super ultra cheap. Well, don't you know, like 2 days later, where did he go? I think he went to Walmart or something. And he calls me up and he's like, honey, you're never going to believe this. He's like, they have a gazebo here, but it has a little bit of damage to it for like next to nothing. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's like, I can fix it. I can totally fix this. So I came over and looked at it, and the guy's like, all right, we want this amount of money. And I told him, I said, no. I said, it's broke. The metal frame is damaged. I'll give you this. I'll give you this right here and now. And he's like, well, we don't really do, it's not like an auction here. I said, can you go ask one of your managers? And the manager came back. Don't you know, we walked out with our gazebo. And I was doing some cleaning in my another area of my studio here when I used to do my tent shows. I totally forgot I had these really nice drapes that I would put around my tent to use as like privacy panels. We put them up in the gazebo, and I'll have to post a picture on here. I now have my beautiful lighted ambiance gazebo. We also manifested going away to a cabin in the mountains for like a family trip. Don't you know, one of his friends has a cabin, and he offered to let us use it for free. And we did all kinds of family adventures, so we were able to go away on a trip without having to pay for a place to stay. We also manifested, like, them wooden electrical pinwheels? I saw all these things on, like, Pinterest of these different, like, tables and all different things you could do with these big wooden pinwheels. When you lay them on their side, now you could use them as tables. And I wanted 2 of them. I wanted one to be, like, bar pub height, because we have outdoor bar pub size height chairs. Then I didn't have a table. So I needed a table for that. And then I wanted a smaller one for, like, the kids. Don't you know, we were riding around on the motorcycle. Right there was 2 pinwheels on outside they were, like, just left there. Honey, we gotta go home and get the truck. So we got our pinwheels. I can go on and on about all different kinds of examples of things that I have manifested in my personal life. But the point of me sharing all this with you is it's real. It does happen. You have to pay attention to your thoughts and your feelings and the things that you say. If you're that negative Nancy, you're going to keep attracting negative stuff. If you keep thinking negative things, you're going to keep attracting negative things. I can tell you in the beginning, if you're in a horrible situation, you have to change what you think about it. See the blessing that is inside of it. If something shitty is going on, it's going on for a reason. Don't look at it as, oh, I just have bad luck or stuff. Believe me, I know. Believe me, I could tell you more personal stories about severe, just horrible shit hitting the fan in my life. But how I look at it now is completely and totally different. I can take the most horrible, horrendous, shittiest situation and find the blessing in it. And that is what I focus on. A lot of people I know, when we talked about the motorcycle accident, and oh my God, you two could have died, and I'm not even going in and going to tell you the various different things that happened. I think that accident, there's like 3 different instances where we should have died. Like 3 different things came into play and we didn't. And you know, going through the healing phase after it, and life was really different now, and going through all the pain. But the good side of it is so much love and the unity that happened. It was like when you both go through something when you and somebody else goes through something extremely traumatic, one, you find out who your friends are, and I mean like your real friends, and 2, that situation either pulls you two together to where you're working side by side, or that's it. And the things that we discovered and the way we worked together and the dynamics of our relationship, they intensified, and we just decided we are going to work together, and the 2 of us together are going to get through this, the whole healing and everything that we need to get through. And it's just, it's phenomenal. It really is. Manifesting, it really, not only does it attract things into your life, when you learn to raise your vibration, so many, like, I can tell you, I honestly wake up every day happy, so full of life and filled with joy and abundance and thankful for everything that I have. Excuse me there. Your life does change when you raise your vibration, pay attention to your thoughts and your feelings. Your life will change. So with that being said, yeah, here we go. Here, I'll share another one with you. January of 2015, I wrote down, live and love to the fullest in a real life reality fairy tale of sweet bliss every day as long as I live. Now, I still have life to live, but you know what? I do live in a real life happy fairy tale, and I do have sweet bliss every day. Why? I changed how I see things. I changed how I look at things. I take how I feel and situations that are going on in my life, and I have programmed my mind, not only because of like the work that I do for a living with the whole spiritual aspect of it. I have all of that in my life. I really do. And part of why I started this, my Divine Angel reading, I want to teach that and share that with people. How did I get that? Like, it is possible to have a dream life. Even when things are not good, you still be in the zone and have things working out. I want to share that with you. I want to give it to you. I want to show you how you can do it all for yourself. It is totally achievable, totally doable. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I have going on here. I think sometime this week I'm going to take you guys on a little journey with me through, like I said, right now I am manifesting my dream house, and I know it's right around the corner because set things have been happening, and I'll share that with you in another video that's not so long. So, all right, I gotta go, guys. I will talk to you later. If you got any kind of insight, tips, if this video helped you at all, fulfilled you, maybe gave you a little bit of courage to know that you can totally do all of this yourself, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Comment below some of your experiences, things that you've manifested. I would love to read about it. Please share it with me. All right, guys, I gotta go. I will talk to you soon.